watching News Mongolia on MNB World, and I'm your host, Jargalma Dovshinjargal. Our top stories for today: bringing Khavirga and Arkhashaat ports up to the international standards. Mongolia and Germany ratify groundbreaking road transportation agreement. The Girls in ICT Mongolia event held on April 17th. For the news, stay tuned. In a bid to bring Khavirga and Arkhashaat ports up to international prominence, discussions have taken place regarding the utilization of land for constructing storage facilities and for oil product transshipment along the country's border.
Additionally, deliberations have focused on the allocation of land along the state border for the establishment of loading and unloading areas for explosives, explosive equipment, and chemical reagent storage tanks. Following extensive discussions, a resolution has been issued concerning the utilization of the land along the border for port purposes. The resolution aims to enhance supply stability by diversifying the sources of petroleum product imports. As part of the decision, land on the border strip of the state will be utilized for constructing oil product transshipment facilities and warehouses at the key ports including Bichuk, Hank, Boroste, Kashan-Suhat, and Shiveh-Hurum ports, under the supervision of the Border Port Administration. Specifically, the resolution mandates the allocation of a designated area on the state border for the loading and unloading of hazardous chemical cargo, explosive substances, flammable blasting equipment, and storage containers for chemical reagents at Hank Port. This resolution signifies a strategic move towards bolstering the infrastructure and operational capacity of key ports, paving the way for enhanced international trade and logistical efficiency.
An agreement between the governments of Mongolia and Germany on international passenger and cargo transportation by road was approved at the regular meeting of the government. During the visit of German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier to Mongolia in February of this year, the Minister of Road and Transport Development Beamzucht and the Ambassador of Germany to Mongolia, Helmut Kulitz, signed the agreement. Compared to agreements concluded with European countries and other nations, this agreement offers distinct advantages regarding data protection, United Nations registration, and compliance with European Union and international legal standards. By ratifying the agreement, Mongolian transporters will gain access to European markets, enhancing competitiveness and opening new transit routes. Cargo transportation between the two countries is facilitated under the TIR Convention. Bilateral trade expands, fostering economic growth. Complexities in Asia-Europe trade, including transportation, customs, tax, and insurance, are simplified. In summary, this agreement marks a significant step forward in Mongolia-Germany relations, promoting economic cooperation and facilitating smoother cross-border transactions. On April 17th, a Girls in ICT Mongolia event was held in Ulaanbaatar. Girls in ICT Mongolia program is being supported by the Communications Regulatory Commission of Mongolia, United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, the Ministry of Food, Agriculture and Light Industry, and the Ministry of Digital Development and Communications. Details are in the following reports.
The Girls in ICT Day has evolved into a global movement transcending borders and cultures, with the International Telecommunication Union and various partner organizations spearheading events and celebrations not only on the designated day, but also throughout the year. This annual event is an important platform focusing on supporting girls in education with this year's campaign geared towards promoting their participation in agriculture and the ICT sector. We are pleased to see the active involvement of over 50 girls from the University of Life Sciences, highlighting a positive trend towards gender inclusivity. Statistics indicate that 40% of highly educated professionals are women, with many occupying executive positions, demonstrating their significant contributions across various sectors. While progress has been made in promoting gender equality, there remains a need to further enhance enhance girls' skills in all industries. The ICT sector in particular stands out for its emphasis on intellectual abilities rather than physical strength, potentially making it more accessible to women. As part of our initiative, we have organized workshops, including a recent writing code workshop that attracted over 30 girls. Additionally, we are facilitating training opportunities for engineers both in Japan and through Google certificates, with a commitment to ensuring at least 50% representation of women among recipients and attendees. Our goal is to provide equal opportunities for girls to excel and lead in the evolving digital landscape. Originally established to encourage young women's participation in the field of information and communication technology, the Girls in ICT Day has gained momentum, inspiring ITU partners and other organizations worldwide to organize their own initiatives and activities. These efforts aim to empower girls and young women to pursue careers in technology and bridge the gender gap in the ICT sector.
Thank you for staying with us. Now let's take a look at currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Next, our program will turn our attention to foreign news, partnered with international news agencies. A U.S. top envoy to the United Nations said Wednesday that Washington will work together with allies to develop options inside and outside the United Nations to stop North Korea from illegal activities that violate sanctions.
Good morning, everyone.
Linda Thomas-Greenfield made the comments in a press briefing held in Seoul to wrap up her 4-day visit to South Korea.
As you noted, look forward to engaging with both Republic of Korea, Japan, but like-minded as well on trying to develop options both inside the UN as well as outside the UN. The point here is that we cannot allow the work that the panel of experts were doing to lapse. We have to continue to keep eyes on and reporting on the illegal activities of the DPRK and efforts to break the sanctions that have been put in place.
The ambassador said that she doesn't expect Russia and China to change their stance and cooperate with the other members of the UN Security Council to hold Pyongyang accountable for their efforts to break sanctions.
And yes, Russia and China will continue to try to block those efforts. Why? First and foremost, Russia has already been breaking the sanctions regime. They're already engaging with trade with the DPRK. They are purchasing weapons against Security Council resolutions. And they have, along with China, continued to protect the DPRK from being held accountable. And so I don't expect that they will cooperate or agree with any efforts that we make to find another path, but that is not going to stop us from finding that path moving forward.
During her trip, Thomas-Greenfield met with President Yoon Suk-yeol. She also held talks with the country's foreign affairs and defense chiefs to discuss cooperation on the implementation of new United Nations sanctions against North Korea and ways to monitor the autocratic regime's activities.
Thailand and New Zealand are aiming to triple trade between them within the next 21 years, the leaders of the two countries said on Wednesday, and to up their relationship to a strategic partnership.
The announcements came during a state visit by Prime Minister Christopher Luxon to Bangkok, the first by a New Zealand leader in 11 years. He met with Thailand's Prime Minister Srettha Thavisin on Government House for discussions that covered bilateral and international matters including trade, investment, visa arrangements, tourism, transnational crime, cybersecurity. The leaders presided over the signing of the Memorandum of Understandings, one on education and one covering supply, repair and maintenance in the aviation sector.
We have agreed to elevate Thailand-New Zealand relations to a strategic partnership in 2026 or sooner, which will mark the 70th anniversary of our diplomatic relations. This will create the momentum for us to further expand and deepen cooperation in all dimensions.
Trade has already tripled in the 20 years since our FTA was put in place. But today we have committed to look for further opportunities to expand our economic cooperation and for new opportunities. Today we announced an ambitious goal to triple our two-way trade by 2045.
Business delegations from both countries also held a meeting helmed by two prime ministers looking to expand the bilateral economic relationship. The leaders also spoke about developments in neighboring Myanmar. Thailand is closely watching the tense situation on its northwestern border where the key Myanmar town of Mayabadi has just fallen to forces fighting the military authorities who seized power in 2021. Srettha said that he told Lakson Thailand is ready to provide humanitarian assistance to those affected by any unrest in the area.
Myanmar's military government said that jailed former leader Aung San Suu Kyi has been moved from prison to house arrest as a health measure due to a heat wave. On Wednesday, the military also granted amnesty for over 3,000 prisoners to mark this week's traditional New Year holiday in Myanmar.
Aung San Suu Kyi and Win Myint, former president of her ousted government, were among the elderly and infirm prisoners moved from out of prison because of the severe heat, according to a military spokesperson who talked to foreign media Tuesday. The move hasn't yet been publicly announced in Myanmar. A nationwide conflict in Myanmar began in 2021 after the army ousted the elected government, imprisoned Aung San Suu Kyi, and began suppressing nonviolent protests that sought a return to democratic rule. She has been serving a 27-year prison term in Myanmar's capital, Naypyidaw, on a variety of criminal convictions that her supporters and rights groups say were fabricated for political reasons. Win Myint was serving an 8-year prison sentence in Taunggu, in Myanmar's Bagua region. Myanmar's meteorological department said Naypyidaw saw temperatures of 39 degrees Celsius on Tuesday afternoon.
Now let's take a look at international current affairs.
A fire raged through one of Copenhagen's oldest buildings Tuesday, destroying about half of the 17th century-old stock exchange and collapsing its iconic dragon tail spire as passers-by rushed to help emergency services save priceless paintings and other valuables. The blaze broke out on the building's roof during renovations, but police said it was too early to pinpoint the cause. The red brick building with its green copper roof and distinctive 56-meter spire in the shape of 4 intertwined dragon tails is a major tourist attraction next to Denmark's parliament, Christiansborg Palace in the heart of the capital. Bells tolled and sirens sounded as fire engulfed the spire and sent it crashing into the building, which was shrouded by scaffolding. Huge billows of smoke rose over downtown Copenhagen and could be seen from southern Sweden, which is separated from the Danish capital by a narrow waterway.
Well, that's all for today. Thank you for staying with us. We will see you at Friday with more news and updates. Goodbye.